Hi. Now, obviously, the Tory party are proving that they are completely inept at running the country. But what about some of the alternatives? Some of the viable alternatives, not the SNP, because they will never get in. They'll only get in. Their best they'll do is they'll get in Scotland. They'll never get in England. But then again, they're not an English party. So anyway, the main alternative to the Tory party is the Labour Party. But should you vote for them? What he stands for. Um, Keir Starmer is a human rights lawyer. He basically he has stated though since Labour's last humiliating election defeat that he he will honour the referendum result. Um, Unfortunately, the jury's still out on that. We we would have to see that to believe it. Obviously, with Keir Starmer's track record as a human rights lawyer. I mean, he may honour that, or he may decide no, he's not going to do that anymore. But obviously, that would obviously with him, obviously we would have to know that when he's in charge of the country. The fact is, though, when you think about it, Labour are not really when you look at their policies and everything else, Labour are not really a viable alternative. Although they're the main party that can basically beat the Tories, and they are by according to like according to Ipsos Mori polls and all the other surveys and all the other polls, they are absolutely on the floor of the Tories in the next election. And to tell you the truth, the Tories deserve to be whipped in the next election. But the Labour Party, can they do a better job? Do you think? You need to think about that when you cast your vote next election. You will need to be thinking about that when you cast your vote. Um, Now, some of the Labour MPs are pretty decent and fair, but some really do leave a lot to be desired. Um, let's have a think about them. Angela Rayner, she's not too bad. She's quite loud, but she's quite loud. She's quite loud. She's very passionate, but you know, I mean, she has said that she's a Democrat though after the referendum result. So she sounds pretty decent and fair. Um, Jess Phillips is obviously a very very huge is a huge feminist. Hugely, massively supports women's rights um, and equalities and that. So I mean, to be fair, she's very passionate about what she believes in and stands for. Um, so she probably would do a reasonable job of what she's specialises in. Um, Obviously, you've got Lisa Nandy, who obviously has similar equality beliefs to what Jess Phillips has. You have Diane Abbott, who has made a lot of blunders over the years, unfortunately. You know, I mean, she has said things, made incorrect errors of judgments on adding things up, which is why she gets often called the abacus. Um, she is very passionate though, and she really does stand up for what she believes in. But there are there are a lot of question marks about her, and also to be fair, and also you got David Lammy, who is probably even more on the Remain side of pretty much more on the Remain side of Labour and political spectrum than probably what Keir Starmer is. Do you remember that interview he had where he wanted to cancel Brexit and cancel negotiations? It's worth watching. So yeah, Labour, you know, hopefully would be in the would honour the result of the referendum. Obviously, that would be remain to be seen. But as a viable alternative, I think personally there are better options. I mean, Reform Party would be good if they can make enough of a challenge. Obviously, I think the Reform Party really do need to take on the Tories, really, and try and get the Tory seats. I mean, because they just don't. They just at the end of the day, the Reform Party are much more passionate and much more stronger and much more a much more firmer believer in Brexit. I mean, obviously, I voted Leave, and the Brexit result really does need to be honoured, and we need to get the best deal we can from the EU. A lot of Remainers will probably disagree with me, but at the end of the day, we have left, and that was what the 17.4 million people voted for, regardless of what you think. Also, the fact of the matter is, Labour historically supported the working class and the sort of less well-off in society, but their policies have kind of changed over the years. They're sort of more union-based, union supporting. Also, they're getting students on their side as well. That's obvious with a lot of results in a lot of the in a lot of cities with high student populations. That Labour are doing well because they sort of tap into what the students believe in, and they sort of want to get the students supporting them. But I think the Reform Party will do a sort of the party that I would personally vote for next time, either that or the SDP, because I mean the Reform Party are sort of on the right of the spectrum. They're not far right, but they are on the right of the political spectrum, and obviously they're Eurosceptic, and obviously you've got the SDP who are sort of centre left of the political spectrum, but they're also Eurosceptic. So really, we need to be we need to know, so we know full well that the Brexit the agreements and with the EU, and obviously the new relationship with the EU would be honoured. I think we really do need we need a Leave or a Brexit supporting political party in charge, and obviously Liz Truss is she's an ex-Liberal Democrat, she's a Remainer, she's not up to the job at all. Obviously Labour, they're most likely to get in, although personally I think there are better options. They could ex-Labour supporters, especially in northern heartlands, in the sort of like in the north of the country, not just the inner city areas. But he also needs to tell that we also would need to take the bellwether seats as well, and also, but like I say, in the latest polls, Labour just look like they're going to absolutely cream the Tories in the next election, and it's no more than what the Tories deserve, to be honest. But like I say, I just think there are better political parties out there who could possibly do a much better job. So anyway, that's my viewpoint of Labour. It looks likely they're probably going to win the next election, and the way the Tories have run the country, it's no more than they deserve, really. But like I say, I just think there are better options out there. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.